All right, so we're checking out two things today, by the way. First, I'm gonna be using Captain Sterling switches, which are the iced latte switches. They are a coffee kind of base switch. It's kind of cute. They put it in an actual coffee bag. It's like a little scent thing. I did take a sniff. There was no coffee, unfortunately. It would have been fun if they put like a coffee scent somehow in here. Missed opportunity. There's no coffee scent. So missed opportunity there. Would have been great for that. That would have been a nice refreshing, like, ooh, this is cool. But it is a linear polycarbonate housing, palm stem, 3.5 mil travel, 20 millimeter spring, gold plate. Is a 2-stage spring, 55 gram bottom out. Interesting. The switches remind me of when Charo made popcorn switches and set them in popcorn bags. Yeah, I like little things like this. It's always cute. It's always a little cute to do things like this. And here are the switches. So it does look like an iced coffee. It has that same tone, you know. I get it. And there's like, maybe this can be like the creamer or whatever. If you put in creamer to your iced coffee, which I do. So it says they're hand lubed. I did inspect them. For a hand lubed switch, again, I don't know if this is actually done by hand or if they're just saying hand lubed here. They were pretty good. Me personally, it's a little lighter than what I would normally do on a personal switch, but there's nothing wrong with that because that's all preference. So they seemed pretty good. The spring was well lubricated. I opened up about 4 or 5 earlier and they all were pretty consistent. I didn't open up all of them, unfortunately, but I'll hope that when I type on the board afterwards, it'll all be consistent. So yeah, it's definitely a little bit brighter in sound signature in hand, but it feels good. So I'm excited to try these. Packaging's cute. All right, and then we're doing the, dude, I actually thought this was called the Sin65, but then someone mentioned yesterday that it might be like that's, I think it's pronounced Sin65, like the math equation thing. Is it sine or is it sin? It's not sin, right? I don't know. I felt kind of stupid afterwards because I don't know. I thought it was sin. My bad. Sine, cosine? Yeah. So I was wrong. It's not called the Sin65. Price point, I believe this was $279. Actually, I think that was just for the base unit. Hold on, what was the cost of the $288 for the semi-transparent, which is the one that I'm using today. And I believe the regular schmegular, oh no, it is $288. So $288. $288 is the base price. I thought it was $279 for some weird reason. $288. They have a little installation guide. And apparently you can build this plateless as well if you end up getting a soldered PCB. All right, let's see what's in the accessory box. I didn't open up this. I did inspect the keyboard. Oh, okay, I got the hot swap version. Oh, that's kind of cool. I don't know if you guys can see what's going on with the PCB already. Oh, that's kind of cute. All right, I appreciate the PCB. I appreciate that. That's pretty cool. It is creative. I know it's just the PCB, but I appreciate that. I'm gonna also be up front right now, bro. I have no idea what any of this means. I really don't even remember what sine, cosine, whatever that's. I don't even know what that is. I don't remember because I've never used it other than school. So this just looks like a bunch of cool math equations to me. It's just wavy things. But you can see this is also potentially plateless, but I don't think I want to risk it with the hot swap. So I think I'll just build this with a plate today. All right, we got ribbon cables with a daughter board. It's a proprietary daughter board, I can already tell. This is gigantic looking over here. So this I'm not a huge fan of proprietary daughter boards. I'm not saying that daughter boards fail very often because I think I've had maybe I can count on one hand how many times I've needed to replace a daughter board. But I think it's always handy to use something, universal. But whatever, it's there. We have some screws. I think we have a backup daughter board. And then some other screws and stuff in here. Then we have a few plates. We have what looks like aluminum, polycarbonate, lots and lots of foam. All right, this is the keyboard itself. So I actually really like the way this looks. tell you right now. I think this keyboard has thicker bezels, obviously. But what's really nice about this, it might not be as pronounced on this particular version because this is the polycarbonate unit, but it actually has a pretty fun side profile. You probably might want to look at the aluminum side profile on their website a little bit more. Again, polycarbonate's also very hard to kind of show off side profiles, but you can see it kind of flares upwards over there. It's actually relatively pretty. We have this we're going to peel off now too. Does it have a nice like place I can peel this off? Okay, look. It's a nice looking keyboard. The weight's not too big on it, but it does have some heft. It's nice. It does have some, I think some like equation here on the back, but on the PC, it's very hard to see. I mean, even I can't really see it very much in person here. Yeah. So you're not going to really notice that much with the PC. So that's not a corner badge. This keyboard has a separated escape. For what it's worth, I personally don't care for it. Like, it doesn't really mean anything to me. On the website, they put so people don't accidentally click, like it lessens the accidental clicks on escape. That has never happened to me. But it is something that, again, when I say I don't care for it, it doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It doesn't affect me none. It might look really cool on the keyboard, but it's something that doesn't really matter to me much. It's interesting, though. It's interesting for sure. Ooh, I don't know if I see... Okay, I don't think I see any sort of metal, what are they called again? The helixes, the inserts, threaded inserts. I will take this apart. That's actually what I want to take this apart to see. If this doesn't have metal inserts, to me that's a big deal, but we'll see. No metal inserts. At any price point for polycarbonate, I think it's important to have threaded inserts. So there's nothing here that I can see. As you guys can see, no threaded inserts on the polycarbonate version. Again, there is metal versions of this. You won't have to worry about on the aluminum ones. But I will stress to the to Win Studios that they should put something like that here, because that's important. Or else you're going to end up, truthfully, chewing at these and then eventually not having a keyboard that works. This, to me, was sent as a prototype, so we possibly could have one for the production unit. Also, there's these little built-in, I guess, alignment pegs. They seem to be silicone. That's nice. I'm assuming those are for alignment. All right, just wanted to check that out. And I believe you can also do top mount with this. So I don't know if this is gasket as well. I didn't see any gaskets. I don't know if this is a dual mount system. I think this is primarily going to be top mount. No split backspace, which is totally fine. We have 2-step caps locks, 2 different bottom rows, or 2 caps lock rather, not 2-step caps lock. Nice, very cool. I know this is random and out of topic, but are you into cars, or you don't care as long as you can get to point A to point B? I actually don't even have a driver's license. Oh, I see. So if you want to gasket mount it, can I technically do both then? Can I just have both present? No, let's just do one at a time. If you gasket mount it, it's on the PCB tabs. If you top mount it, it's on the plate tab. Again, just to reiterate this, I don't like the fact that this keyboard does not have any threaded inserts. I typically say that if a polycarb doesn't have that, unless you really don't give a shit about it, it's usually a pass for me. But luckily they do make this keyboard in aluminum as well. However, I will still ask them to see if they can add threaded inserts for these. For the switches, the visual appeal was brown in the coffee, sparkles on the ice. Oh, okay. This stem's like milk. That makes sense. What's up with switches and food items? That is a great question. Even I don't know. People in keyboards love their food switches. I heard this board and its plateless config is really nice. Little IXP sheets, that's cool. Not that I'm ever going to use those. Oh, wait, I didn't even know they had this. Should I try it? Okay, I'm going to try it without this and then put this in. They have like a little silicone padding for the top mount. And then gaskets, which I haven't put on yet. So this has an exploded escape. It looks pretty cool built as well. Here, you know what? I'm gonna get rid of the dust pad because I feel like it's a little bit distracting for today's build. It's a pretty nice looking board though. I haven't seen Noel in a minute. Let's use Noel then. A very nice side profile. You can see that more with the aluminum. It's not too present in the polycarbonate, but actually a very pretty side profile. Back's quite nice. I love the weight on this thing. Overall, pretty keyboard. Comes with tons of foam too. I'm not using any foam today. Let's see how this sounds. We're using the polycarbonate plate. We are using no foam. We're using the Captain Sterling's Ice Latte switches. These are already lubed. Like I said, I did personally think it's a little light for my taste, but everyone's a little different with this. I think that's a good starting point though. Over lubed, I think would have been a bad choice. So let's see what this sounds like. And GMK Noel. Little HJ test. This is the top mount config. I like this. It's very deep sounding. I've heard that from other people about this board. I didn't want to like put that in my mind ahead of time, but yeah, it's like a sharp, deep sound. Nice modifiers. Okay. Switches feel great. If I put the gaskets on, let's find out. Let's open this up really quick. Can I still top mount this? And that's where it becomes a little bit confusing. I guess I probably still could top mount it, but it will lose the sound profile it has. I think the keyboard sounds good. It's definitely different than what I'm used to. I feel like this is a little bit deeper, even for a top mount. It's still crisp like a top mount. It has that solid like top mount feel, very crispy sound profile, but definitely has like an undertone of deepness, maybe because of the polycarbonate version. Overall though, pretty nice. It's at a decent price point, the keyboard. It's what, $288. So it's not terrible for, I guess this would be considered a bit of a more premium build. If they don't decide to put threading in the polycarbonate version, I would probably say pass on the polycarbonate and just get the aluminum ones. Unless you're confident with this guy. Because I do think threaded inserts are a must for me. All right, last gasket, and we'll try the gasket variant of this. Overall, I'm pretty happy with the Sin65. Other than those few things, I think it's a pretty solid board. With nothing, again, I don't know about the aluminum one, but the only objectively bad thing I would say that comes out of the polycarb one is no threaded inserts. Other than that, pretty interesting board. All right. I think I kind of like the gasket more. But I mean, that's a pretty different sound signature. I think the backspace needs to be tuned a little bit. Interesting. That's a very, very different sound signature than the top mount. And I got to admit, on a lot of the other double mounted keyboards that we find, there's usually one that's like far better than the other one. I have to admit, this is pretty balanced. I enjoy top mount because I can see myself wanting to go back to the top mount because I kind of like that. But I also quite like the gasket because this is more up my alley sound-wise. But they were both good. And again, usually there's one that's like, eh, and then one's like, oh yeah, this is great. I think these are both good though. Interesting board. How does it feel? The gasket mount feels pretty soft. The top mount feels like a top mount. I have a feeling the aluminum version would be a little bit more on the sharper sound side, which might be more up my alley. However, I do like the look of the polycarb, so it's a trade-off. Still sounds great, I have to admit. My summary of this, for 288 bucks, I think this is a pretty good board. The polycarbonate it's a hard recommend for this guy just because it doesn't have those threaded inserts. I'll make a note of it to them. Also, the hot swap PCB having that upside down hot swap socket, I'll make a note. I don't see any RGB on this. I should have checked. I don't think I saw any LEDs on this guy at all. I'm not upset about it. I do think they probably should have added it just in case, but say there's a lot of vendors for this, which is great. Like to see that. We got Ash Keys, Canon Keys, so a reputable vendor in case you guys were worried about that. Tons of different regional vendors. We have like Indonesia, Japan, Philippines, Malaysia, Thailand, Vietnam, Korea, United Kingdom, Europe, Australia, South America. A lot of great vendors, Taiwan even. Some of these I haven't even heard of. Love you guys. Bye-bye. Enjoy Marcia's stream.